Ship in a Bottle is the first of 13 Bagpuss episodes, and I decided to watch this as part of my efforts to watch the first episodes of every TV show that I grew up with, and I loved Bagpuss. I don't know how many times I've seen all of these episodes, but despite that, I couldn't remember this episode in any great detail, and it was actually a lot longer than I thought. Not in a bad way, but it's about 15 minutes, and I swear they were about 5 minutes each. Not complaining, of course, and this one is very sweet. So there will be spoilers as I talk about what happens in this episode. And this was written, of course, by Oliver Postgate, and we have a voice cast including Postgate, who voiced the narrator, and Bagpuss and the mice and Professor Yaffle. We also have Sandra Kerr as Madeleine the Ragdoll and some of the mice, John Faulkner as Gabriel the Toad and some of the mice. And if you're unaware of what Bagpuss is a soft cloth cat who is in the shop owned by Emily and her family. And broken items end up in this shop, and one of those is the ship in a bottle. And the episode sees the characters trying to determine, first of all, how to get the ship out of the bottle, and then how to fix the ship, and then how to get it back into the bottle. And I think this is such a fascinating one for children in particular, because it can seem like a wonder if you see a ship in a bottle. How on earth does it get inside of there? And of course, once you know, it makes perfect sense. But I won't spoil it, actually, just in case you're not aware of how they get ships inside bottles. I won't spoil that part of it. But we have the characters all coming together to try and mend the ship. And we have a moment that I found to be rather funny. I don't know if I should find it funny, but it's the bit where they're trying to ram one of the mice into the neck of the bottle. And this is poor little Charlie Mouse, and they have to haul him back out, and eventually they get the ship out. And then we have a sing-song, and then we have a sing-song again with the marvellous mechanical mouse organ, and we see some beautiful animation there, which I didn't remember. I didn't remember that we had some other bits of animation in this. Of course, most of this is done with the puppets and the soft Bagpuss and the teeny tiny little mice. And then Bagpuss puts on a hat, and he tells a story of the time that he was Captain Bagpuss. And while all of this is happening, slowly we're piecing together the bits of the ship and learning how it works. And then, of course, we find out, and I won't give it away. And I think it's really fascinating. And actually, this might be the first time I learned about ships in a bottle. That definitely wouldn't surprise me. I do think that this episode and this show in general probably feels quite dated. This was released originally in the 70s, and there are other kids' TV shows from the 70s that I think maybe don't feel quite as dated. And I'm not necessarily saying that as a bad thing. I just know that young children, when they're used to flashy, high-tech, brightly coloured shows of today, older programmes might not seem as appealing. I'm generalising. That won't be every child, of course. But I'd love to know if anybody watching this has a young child, if they have young siblings. Do young children still watch Bagpuss? I really hope they do, because it's beautiful, and I will always have a very big soft spot for Bagpuss as a cat. I loved Bagpuss growing up. I always, this is a complete tangent, but I always wanted this Bagpuss cake that was in, I think, Asda, and his fur was made of piped icing, pink and white piped icing. And I really, really wanted it, and I never got it, probably because it was extortionately expensive. And obviously, this was probably close to 20 plus years ago now. But if I ever see that cake again, I will absolutely buy it, because I have wanted that Bagpuss cake for over 2 decades. I did used to have a Bagpuss backpack and a Bagpuss pencil case, and I had quite a few Bagpuss things. Big Bagpuss fan growing up, and watching this now, I can see why. We have some great songs, some great characters. The only thing I don't love about it, and it's not a complaint, it's just an observation, is that it does feel very enclosed. The set is obviously very, very small, and we don't have a lot of room to play with, and I can kind of feel that sort of, not quite claustrophobia, but I do feel like I want to kind of push away from the screen and have a bit more space. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's the shop. They're all together in this little room. But that's something that I definitely feel now. I don't know if I felt that as a child, but certainly watching it now, I feel like the set is very, very small. Ship in a Bottle is an absolute delight. It's educational. We have some fun songs. The characters are great. I think it's a really solid introduction to Bagpuss if you've never seen Bagpuss before. It's not my favourite episode. My favourite episode is the one involving biscuits. And I don't know if I'll continue reviewing Bagpuss. I probably won't review Bagpuss week on week. But I think I'm going to have to dip in and out of this one because I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely very, very nostalgic. And if you've never seen Bagpuss before, please watch it. Please check it out. Even just this first episode. Ship in a Bottle is a brilliant start to a really delightful show.